Hi, it's Dr. Bell here. Welcome to the first episode of Watch This Space. I've really enjoyed during lockdown making the weekly videos, and I've particularly enjoyed all the photos and comments that you were sending into Twitter. So I've decided to make a monthly video called Watch This Space. At the end of every month, I'll be releasing a video that explains what you can see in the night sky the following month. So as we head into autumn, you might be thinking you don't really fancy going outside. Well, if you get wrapped up, there's still an awful lot to see, and with the nights getting darker earlier, it can give us more time, although sometimes the clouds can be a little bit troublesome. So for this first episode, I wanted to ask for a guest to come and present a little bit of the show for me, and I've chosen Jamie, who you may remember last year, Jamie from year 9. He won the t-shirt competition, he sent in lots of photos of the astronomy he'd been doing to Twitter. Well, now Jamie from year 9 is Jamie from year 10, and he has made a fantastic guide to what you can see in the October night sky. Over to you, Jamie.
Okay, so I've been asked to do this monthly stargazing update for the Watch This Space program. So I'm just going to go through a few things that are visible in the night sky all month, and also a few events that are happening this month that probably won't happen for the next few years, so they're quite interesting to look forward to. So first we'll start off with some things that are visible for the whole month. So first we'll start with some naked eye viewing. So if you don't have a binocular or a telescope, you don't need to worry because there's plenty of stuff that you can do without any equipment. So first we're going to start off by looking at Jupiter, which is visible all month. It rises above the horizon during the day, which means that it won't be visible because it'll be washed out by the sun. So it should be visible from sunset onwards, and it'll be very prominent in the south and southeast. It's quite a bright object in the sky. Also, Venus will be very bright in the sky. It's visible all month and it's getting brighter all the time because its phase is increasing. So it's going to rise very, very early in the morning, and it's visible from about 3 o'clock in the morning onwards. It's very prominent in the east-southeast and is one of the brightest objects in the sky. So now we can have a look at things that you can view with binoculars, or are best viewed with binoculars. The moon is the first target because the full moon is on the 1st of October. But that's not actually the best time to view the moon because everything will be pretty washed out by the sun. The best times to view the moon are on the 10th at the last quarter and on the 23rd for the first quarter. So the full moon is on the 1st and the new moon is on the 17th, so it'll slowly be getting dimmer throughout the month, and then after the new moon it'll become brighter and fuller again, and then there's another full moon on the 31st. On the 1st, it's going to rise at 7 o'clock in the evening, and each day it's going to be rising 15 minutes later, approximately, than it did the day before. So, for example, on the 2nd, it'll rise at 7:15 in the evening. Jupiter and Saturn are also good planets to look at through binoculars. They rise at 4:30, which is obviously during the day, so they'll be visible from sunset at 7:45 all month. They'll be very, very bright in the southeast. And if you do have binoculars, it'll be a good idea as a bit of a challenge. If you have a wide field of view, you can try and get both planets into the field of view because that'd be quite a nice challenge to have a go at. So if you're lucky enough to have a telescope, here are a couple of things that you can't really see with any other means of viewing. So first, take a closer look at Jupiter. So as I said before, it'll be visible all month and pretty much from sunset onwards. It's prominent in the south and southeast. And a bit of a challenge if you do have a telescope is to see if you can see any surface detail, because if you have binoculars you might get a chance to see some of the moons of Jupiter, but you can't really see any surface detail unless you have a telescope. So look for the stripes, or maybe if you're even lucky and you get the right day, you might even see the red spot if you have a good enough telescope. Another target for telescopes is the moon. So as I said before, the full moon's on the 1st, the new moon's on the 17th, and the best time to view is the 10th and the 23rd. With a telescope, you could probably take a look at the craters and the rills all over the surface. Rills are like sand dunes, because they're quite nice things to see under a scope. So now we've looked at the whole month, let's have a look at some certain events which take place over a day or a couple of days during the month. First, I've got this as a quite advanced astronomical idea of conjunctions, which is where two objects appear to move in tandem in the sky because of how they're positioned. So the first I've got is the Moon and Mars. So on the 3rd, they'll be quite bright, low in the south, and when they'll be 1.2 degrees apart at their closest, which is about 2 full moons apart. My next one is the Moon and Venus. So on the 14th, they're very bright, very low in the east. They'll be really low near the horizon. They'll be 3.6 degrees apart at their closest, so about 6 full moons. The Moon and Jupiter on the 22nd is quite bright and low in the south, and they're 2.9 degrees apart at their closest. And the Moon and Saturn on the 23rd are very low in the southwest, and they're 3 degrees apart at their closest. There's a meteor shower coming on this month, the Orionids, so the activity starts on the 2nd of the 10th, but there won't really be anything interesting happening until the peak activity on the 21st, where the average hourly rate on the peak date is 25 meteors per hour. So where the meteors come from is very low in the northeast, so if you have a good view of the northeast, this might be one to look out for. The activity ends on the 7th of November. And this month, this won't happen for a little while, especially with Mars. Mars is at its brightest, and it's going to be until 2023. So it will reach its maximum brightness on the 12th at 11:30 at night. And then it also reaches opposition, which is where a planet is furthest around from the Sun on the 6th. So that means it'll be at its brightest there as well. So it will be very, very bright in the southeast, one of the brightest objects in the sky, and it'll be 39 degrees up from the horizon. Saturn also reaches maximum brightness on the 16th, so that'll be very bright in the south, next to Jupiter in fact, and it'll be 16 degrees up from the horizon. So that's all I've got to say. Hopefully you can see some of these objects in the sky, and good luck with your astronomy, and I'll hand back to Dr. Bell now.
Wow, Jamie, that was absolutely amazing. I think you'll all agree that was absolutely outstanding. And Jamie's going to get 3 Team Hatton Awards. Fantastic. If you would like to have a go at presenting something for next month, then please let me know. Just send me an email at school and we can make the arrangements. And don't worry, if you feel a bit nervous and think maybe you can't make something like Jamie, then anything is fine. Maybe you've written a poem about space that you'd like to record yourself reading, or you've done a painting you'd like to show us, or a song about space, or maybe you would like to do like Jamie and tell us what's going to happen maybe in the November night sky. Just pop me an email and you could be my guest presenter for November, and that's open to all students and staff. I'd love to have guests. Well, there's not much to add. Jamie covered so much, but I am just going to talk about the space station. Just for the first week of October, there are some chances to see the International Space Station, and I've got all of the times here. So, for example, on the 1st of October, if you look west at 8:04, you should see it rise, go directly overhead, and then disappear at 8:09 southeast. There are lots of different times on here, and if you look at the bottom, hopefully you can see the web address. That is Virtual Astro's web address that lists all the space station times. Now, it is quite important that you check. Just last week there was a lot of space debris and the space station had to change course, which meant that all of the times had to change. So it is possible that the times I'm showing you now actually change by the time we get to that day. But the first week of October will be your last chance to see the space station passing over for the next few weeks, so give it a go. Anyway, if you would like to take part next month, please send me an email and we can get you involved. And I would love to see you tweeting anything space-like and sharing it with the school. Please get involved and watch this space.